will want to definitely share your insights on this and your experience of it because you helped me out a lot, the Take Two family. So thank you very much. Last year, I shared on the air that my husband and I were really unable. Well, yeah, we were pretty much unable to get health insurance because of the rising costs and the lack of carriers where I live in Arizona, and it was really quite depressing. As a matter of fact, we found out that if we could get insurance, it would probably be more than my mortgage payment. And so many of you stepped up and you were sharing some ideas of what I should be doing to acquire health insurance last year. And many of you said health sharing ministries. And you imparted some different organizations that you thought I could look into. But I already knew that if I was going to go that route, which I was excited about, I was going to go with Solidarity HealthShare. And because of that, we wanted to have one of the co-founders on today, and I wanted to share the background about Solidarity and why I chose it and how happy I am with it, and in hopes that others would be open to doing that. Because I have to tell you, Jerry, I have an insurance background, and so for me, it was really tough moving from a mainstream carrier to a different type of situation. But I got to tell you, it's been, I mean, it's just so rewarding. And I feel good about being Catholic and participating with other Catholics and other Christians. So it's an amazing thing. And that's why this show came about, and in hopes that we can get others to understand what healthcare sharing ministries are all about.
All right, here's the phone number to join us, 833-288-EWTN. If you have any questions about this fairly, well, new to most of us anyway, form of health coverage and sharing. We share in the expenses of one another's, of those who participate. I currently do not, but I have looked into it. But the members share in the health costs of one another, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's very, very solidly moral and upstanding and Catholic and Christian. So if you have any questions about this, or maybe you're a participant in a program like this, maybe even Catholic health sharing, 833-Solidarity, 833-288-3986. And Debbie and I have arranged to be joined today by Chris Faddis. He's the founder of Solidarity HealthShare. In 2002, Chris lost his wife to colon cancer, and their story is told in his memoir, It Is Well, Life in the Storm, where he details his wife's battle with cancer and what it means to respond to human suffering with faith. Before founding Solidarity in 2012, Chris had a diverse background in youth ministry, marketing, and business development, and he is married with 3 children, an active member in the ministries of St. Timothy Catholic Church in Mesa, Arizona. Chris, good to have you with me and Debbie. Welcome to Take Two.
Hey, thank you so much, Jerry, and thank you, Debbie. I got to update that bio. I've got
You
a
do,
fourth
Chris.
child and a 5th one on the way. So.
Wow. Things happen fast. Well, when you have a growing family like that, it's things like updating your bio can easily be overlooked.
That is correct.
Oh, Chris, well, we're so glad you could join us. And a lot of our Take Two family, they may not know this, but Chris and I actually, we worked at neighboring parishes when Chris was in youth ministry and I was as well. And we did some retreats and some fun stuff together. And it was really, it was a healthy competition between parishes, but we had a good time and fostered a great friendship. And Chris, to watch you go from youth ministry to the marketing to being a co-founder of Solidarity HealthShare. You also are the founder of Benny Plates. I mean, so many things you do, Chris, and you do it with a heart and a mission for the Catholic faith. Thank you for that, first and foremost. But I want to just say, we wanted to have you on to share your story of how it all got started, Chris.
Yeah, it's really amazing, Debbie, what God does with our journey. I mean, I think even about you. I mean, I was reminiscing the other day about our days running junior high day camps together, and what God has done with both of our paths. But, my own path really led in a lot of ways back into business. But then really from there, it was a tragedy in my life. My first wife, Angela, we had 2 children together. She was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer on Easter Sunday of 2011. And in fact, this coming Friday will be the 6th anniversary of her passing. And Angela really had this tremendous faith that shone so brightly during her trial. with really knowing you have a terminal cancer and being able to still have faith and to say things like Jesus still rose, so we will trust. And Angela taught me more in that 17 months of her cancer than I've learned in my entire life. It was a catechesis on suffering. It was a catechesis on surrender to God. It was just an amazing experience, though a sad one. But what was even more amazing, what really led to the desire to start Solidarity HealthShare was the Christian community, the Catholic community that surrounded us and gave money and donated meals and sent well wishes and prayed for us and did rosaries and went to the tombs of great saints to pray for her and everything and really at one point raising $60,000 to pay for medical treatment that wasn't going to be covered by insurance. And what we saw was this incredible compassion of the Christian community, as opposed to what we experienced in the insurance world, which was very cold, very bureaucratic, many times being left with the bill, and told it was no longer going to be covered or whatever it was. And so we really wanted to find a way to do that. And at the same time, the Affordable Care Act came out and really the mandates came out and showed us that we as Catholics were no longer going to be able to buy insurance and keep our consciences clean. And so Solidarity HealthShare was really born out of those two things. And really, again, every day we think about Angela and what she really, if it weren't for her journey, I don't know that we would be in this fight today.
Wow. Well, we want to talk more about this, Chris, but we want to also open the phone lines for our Take Two family that loves to share things and maybe ask you some questions and maybe just even share some experiences they've had with the healthcare industry. So here's the number, folks: 1-833-288-3986. That's 1-833-288-EWTN. When we come back, please call up and speak to Chris, and let's learn more about Solidarity HealthShare.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Chris Faddis is our guest. He is the founder of Solidarity HealthShare. And we're talking about insurance coverage and some of the new and really exciting ways of obtaining that, and especially ways that kind of weed out some of the immoral elements of healthcare sometimes. That's almost commonplace nowadays when you have contraceptive coverage and abortion, and some are covering even transgender operations and all kinds of things. So if you have any questions about this, maybe you've heard about one of the alternative health share movements and you would just like to get some more information on that, or talk about things like, how does it work? What about pre-existing conditions? How much does it cost? Things like this. It really is something that we wanted to just bring to your attention so that you would at least be aware that there are options available. 833-288-3986 is the number to call. And Chris Faddis is with us, founder of Solidarity HealthShare. And Chris, again, our prayers, certainly for your wife on the anniversary of her death coming up, and you have handled that amazingly well, and God has really inspired you through your founding of Solidarity. So, give our listeners just kind of the 38,000-foot picture of how an organization like this works and how people benefit from it and get the kind of health care coverage that they need.
Sure. Yeah. Essentially, Solidarity HealthShare exists as a go-between between our members. Our members join Solidarity, and as Debbie mentioned, she's a member, I'm a member, and we pay a monthly contribution that our families commit to. We pay that in. Solidarity receives those funds. And then as medical bills come in from our members, whether it's from me or Debbie or from anyone else, then we submit those bills for sharing among the member dollars. And so the money kind of goes around from the members into that bill, and then the bill is funded. And then we pay the bill directly to the provider, or we reimburse the member. And it really is simplifying this whole process of a third-party payer, because ultimately our members are self-pay or private pay patients, but they don't have to foot the bill themselves. They share those dollars together. And so, you and I might budget, for my family, I budget $450 a month. It goes to my share amount. But $450 a month isn't going to cover the birth of our child. My second wife, Jen's having a baby in October. So that money then is shared among the members to pay for the birth of that child. And then when the months we don't use our dollars, it goes towards other people's bills. And it's just really simplifying that process of sharing medical expenses among members of like mind.
Wait a minute. I just had an aha moment, Chris. So that means this new baby that's coming, that's like part of my family then. Since I invested.
Yeah, in a lot
right?
of ways it is. You're part of that. And you'll actually get to see, Debbie, I don't know if you've done this yet, but when you go into your online share box, you can actually see where those dollars went. So you can see, last month my money went to Chris and Jen, and my money went to this person or whatever it is. And you could actually send them a prayer, a well wish. You can,
nice.
Maybe just say prayers for them at Mass, not knowing what's going on. You'll actually see that. Now, everyone's information is, of course, kept private, and they get to decide how their name appears and all of that. But you know that your dollars are being spent to help other families rather than going to some, profit corporation.
That is cool. So how many families partake in it as of today, Chris?
Today we are at 5,000 households. We're growing pretty fast. About 300 to 400 households a month are joining. And coming into, what the Obamacare exchange calls open enrollment, we expect to grow even more. But that equates to 12,000 lives, Debbie, which is really amazing that we're supporting the medical care of 12,000 lives as a community.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Our guest is Chris Faddis. He is the founder of Solidarity HealthShare. It's a Catholic-based, very Catholic-centered, moral health insurance provider where the members all share in one another's health care costs. And we're talking about how it works. And I'm curious, Chris, I know that, for example, when I, with my insurance, obviously, and with most of them, I get the explanation of benefits after a doctor visit or what have you. And it will have what the amount was that was billed. And then, there's typically a huge, like a deep discount, and then what the insurance company paid, and then what I have to pay. Does that work the same? Does Catholic HealthShare get those same discounts? How's the relationship between healthcare providers and Solidarity?
Yeah, one of the things that's unique about Solidarity over many of the other health sharing ministries is that we actually do discounting on the bills. So when the bills come to us, and most of the bills, about 75% of them come direct to us from the provider, or they're submitted by the member. When those bills come to us, we actually discount the bills using what's called reference-based reimbursement. And we apply we have a price transparency tool that we use to really see what the price really should be. And then we send a check to the provider for that amount. And so we end up obtaining, over the life of our ministry, we're sitting at 65% in discounts that were accepted by providers as paid in full. And so we're able to really get that price down and show them, hey, you're saying it's this much, but Medicare pays this much. Why don't we make a deal and we'll pay you 160% of what Medicare would pay, and the provider will accept that. So you do get to see that. You get what's called an explanation of sharing, a very similar document. It shows you all of those things and even shows you kind of where you're at on your, we have an annual unshared amount that you have to pay every year before we start sharing. And so you can see that where you're at on that. And that sharing explanation tells you what kind of discounts we obtained for you.
Wow, that's fascinating. Well, I haven't had to use it yet, Chris, but if I do, this is good stuff to know. Jerry, so we've got some calls coming in, but we have an open phone line. I cannot believe it. Normally on Take Two, we never have an open phone line. So if you're prompted by the Spirit and you want to call in and talk about Health Sharing Ministries and talk to Chris Faddis, ask him some questions. You've got him for the entire hour. I would ask him a lot of questions. I'm learning. I'm taking notes. So dial in 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Shall we go to the phones, Jerry? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do that. David is first in Ohio, listening to Take Two on God's Love Radio. Hi, David. Good to have you with us. You're on with Chris Faddis.
Hello, this is David. I'm calling because I have a question about health insurance with these shared programs. I was having problems finding an alternative to government-run health care, mainly because I've been on it for so long that as a poor person, I have trouble finding an affordable alternative that doesn't have this escape clause with no pre-existing illnesses. And I'm wondering what the heck to do about that, because it seems like everyone has this escape clause for not allowing pre-existing illnesses. At this point, all of my conditions are pre-existing, and the government won't pay for them either.
Yeah, David, and that's a predicament we find lots of people in. Unfortunately, and for health sharing, we do have to do some limitations because it's directly member dollars sharing member dollars, and it's built a certain way to keep the costs down. Now, we at Solidarity HealthShare actually look at every pre-existing condition and every member individually. So, there may be things that appear to be pre-existing conditions. I had a member reach out recently and say, I don't understand why you consider this condition pre-existing. And we actually didn't even know he had the condition, and it actually for us was not considered pre-existing. So we actually encourage people like yourself, David, to actually go through the process and ask the questions. We won't discuss your current pre-existing conditions on the air, but our medical team can do that and talk to you about what's available. Sometimes for certain conditions and certain situations like certain welfare situations or those kind of things, sometimes the government insurance is not a bad thing for that, especially if you're in an area where it's ethical and those things. But we'll be able to help you kind of discern that as a ministry. You can call in and talk to our folks, fill out an application, and we can walk through those pre-existing conditions with you.
What do you think, David?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Chris, David, before you go, Chris, what's the best way for David to get in touch with Solidarity?
You can certainly go online. The application and all of that's there, but definitely call us at 844-313-4999. We have a great team that's there to answer questions and walk you through the process. 844-313-4999.
Thanks, David. Hope it helps, and hope you find, some care with that, because it's very. I know the feeling, David. It's a horrible feeling to know that you may not have coverage, and you want to rest. You really want to be, comforted knowing that it's all taken care of. So we're going to pray for that, David, that you receive that health care that you need. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Debbie, just to clarify even more on that, one of the things that we do with pre-existing is when something is determined pre-existing, Solidarity actually tries to graduate that member into the program. And so, let's say that there's a condition that you had, that was considered pre-existing. We'll actually work with that member. We'll limit sharing for the first year, but then after the second year, it goes up to $25,000. The third year goes up to $25,000, and then after that time, that person is fully shareable. So depending on the condition, obviously that won't work for every condition. There might be, high costs and things that person can't afford. But for some, they're able to make that work. And so we do really work hard. So, David, I definitely encourage you to call in and get those questions answered.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, David. Appreciate your call and your listenership. We know you're a regular listener. Thank you so much for being with us. All right. Up now. Well, by the way, the phone number, 833-288-3986. Chris Faddis is with us. He has organized and founded Solidarity HealthShare, a Catholic health sharing program. This is the first time you've heard about this. Pay close attention, and maybe you've dipped your toe in the pool by looking into something like this a little bit, and you just weren't sure exactly how it works or some of the other things. Is there health screening required for membership? Once you join, how long? Can you opt out, drop out at any time? Other questions like this, deductibles, co-pays, things like that. 833-288-3986. Obviously, Debbie and I can ask Chris these questions, but we'd rather have you ask them. So And Joe in Madison, Ohio is with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie next, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
I am doing well. How about all of you?
Great,
I'm
Joe.
fine. Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Great, Joe.
Well, thanks for having me. I just wanted to call when I heard the show today. I've been using another version of this kind of sharing, health sharing, and as I was driving today, I heard you say, Debbie, you had the aha moment, how the baby that's to be born is part of your family. And I've been doing a Christian sharing sort of a insurance. It's really the same kind of thing. Of course, we don't call it insurance, but what it is that aha moment. It came to mind, yesterday's reading. So here we are, one body of Christ, and when one part of the body is hurting, we all hurt. We come together, we lift each other up. To me, that's what this kind of a health sharing is all about. It's really about the body of Christ. Now, I don't have any great stories on how I had terrible condition that got covered, but that's okay because other people do. And because of that and the way these ministries are set up, I can help others that way. And I believe it's a similar thing with Solidarity where you're helping your fellow brother and sister Christian, and in addition, you're praying for each other. The spiritual support is so wonderful. With our electronic age, we have the emails, we have this means to be able to share in the healing, not only monetarily, but spiritually.
Right. Did we lose you? I think we might. I'm not sure if we lost Joe, but Chris, you can kind of get the gist of what he was saying. I think he may still be on the line, but go ahead.
I'm really grateful for Joe's comments. It kind of gives me chills, honestly, to hear that. Even if he is with another health share, we'll forgive him for that. But we no, I kid. And really we did. Solidarity learned a lot from the other health sharing ministries in order to go about doing what we're doing, and so we're really grateful to them. We're friends with a lot of their leadership and try to keep in touch. But yeah, Joe hits the nail on the head. That's exactly that moment of realizing my dollars are supporting another family. I remember sitting in the pew, when we were working to start Solidarity. I was on another health share. I joined, in lieu of starting it. And I remember sitting in a pew and seeing another family there who had just gone through a medical crisis, who I knew was a member of the same health share. And I remember just thinking, this is beautiful. And I spent my entire Mass praying for that family. And I think that's the beautiful thing about health sharing is that it really is taking this back to members sharing each other's bills, supporting each other. It's a tangible way to live out the gospel. I mean, that's really what it is. It's a tangible way to be in Christian community together.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got Joe back on the line, and it's interesting you're using the term beautiful, Chris, because I actually typed over to Jerry as Joe was talking. I said, what a beautiful insight Joe has. So, Joe, we got you back on the air. Chris was just commenting on what you were saying, and I agree with you. I've never thought of it like that. I'm always thinking of myself. Oh, I need health care. My husband needs health care. My family needs health care. And yet, it's a much bigger picture, Joe. How about some more comments from you?
Well, I'm not sure when I was lost or whatever, but here we are to be able to lift each other up in prayer. So it's not just the physical helping of each other, but the spiritual aspect, which is really where the healing comes from, right? So here we are able to serve our brothers and sisters with the love of Jesus Christ. What a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, and it reminds me of I don't know if it's an exact analogous situation, but I believe it's Acts chapter 4, where the believers were all in one heart and one soul, and it says they had everything in common. Now, obviously, the body of believers around the world is a little bit larger than it was back then, and that would not be very practical, but it still is along those same lines. So, thanks very much, Joe, for your call. We appreciate that very, very much. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And Debbie, we got a line open there. We're going to get to Bill next here in just a minute, but why don't we give that line out? And also other ways that people can get a hold of us with comments or questions.
Yeah, you can always email us, take2@EWTN.com. That you can email us. You can go on social media. You can weigh in there. You could also text us, Twitter. How about calling us? Why don't you call us? Because we got Chris on the line, and it would be wonderful for him and you two to connect and to chat and to talk about healthcare issues. 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288 888-3986. And you have plenty of time to get on the show, but don't wait too much longer because you know how fast Take Two goes. And we want to hear from you. This is your show. We're talking about Catholic Health Sharing Ministries today, and Chris Faddis is our guest. And you can ask the questions. You can share your experience. When we come back, we're going back to the phones.
Thanks for being here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Today we have a guest. It's very rare when we do, but we wanted to cover a topic that we hope would be of interest to you. It's health sharing, and we're talking specifically about a Catholic health sharing organization, if you will, insurance coverage program called Solidarity HealthShare with the founder, Chris Faddis. And right before we go back to the phones and to Bill, wanted to mention that Catholic Answers Live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Trent Horn will be on both hours. Trent is an author and an apologist to Catholic Answers. And they, several years ago, they really branched out and I would say got bold. And they started doing shows for those who are pro-choice, pro-abortion, those who are atheists, those who have problems with Catholic moral teachings and so forth, inviting, in essence, those who have difficulties with Catholicism and so forth, and those have become some of their more popular shows. So today, it's 2 hours with Trent Horn. Why are you pro-choice? So they'll be hearing you'll be hearing conversations between Trent and those who are in favor of abortion, and Trent is very patient and dispassionate and really disarming, and he puts a good Catholic argument out there, but always in charity and politeness. So join Catholic Answers Live at 6 Eastern Time on EWTN Radio. Okay,
as Jerry said, we're going to go to Bill in New Jersey, waiting so patiently on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Bill. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, how are you? So I've been listening to the conversation. I can relate to what's going on. It's been on my heart to jump into the ocean here of health sharing type of services. I've listened to other shows on this, and I'm nervous to do it, and here's why. So I've got a 7-year-old daughter. She's got a condition called tetralogy of Fallot, and she had to have open heart surgery as a child. She's doing great now, but she will have to have 2 other surgeries. And we have a specialist in New York, Columbia Press, who is fantastic, and but he's incredibly expensive. I've been paying an insane health plan under United. Oxford, we pay ridiculous premiums. It's very, very difficult to make these premiums. So my question is, if I were to jump ship into something like this, would the pre-existing condition, obviously, that requires some type of discernment on the part of your counselors. I understand that whether you can take her on and whether she can be graduated into the program. I understand that part. But what would like my doctor and the Atlantic Healthcare, who handles Morristown, New Jersey, where I'm at, would they even accept it? Or would they say, well, we don't accept it, you got to pay the bill and submit it to your HealthShare provider? And my last question is, what about on script cards? Do you have prescription cards, and how does all that work? So I know that I packed a lot into that question, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of good questions there. And what I'll tell you, Bill, is that, first of all, I'm sorry that your daughter's been through that plight. I'm sure that's not been easy for your family, but it sounds like you've done a good job taking good care of her. So I'm happy to hear that. But no, what we do is, like you said, we would review that case and kind of look at your daughter's situation. Ultimately, as far as the cost goes, yeah, I mean, we would pre-negotiate a lot of things like those surgeries. We would contact those doctors that you want us to work with proactively. So one of the things you do when you become a member is you can provide a provider nomination list and say, hey, I've got these doctors who I really like to go to, or these hospitals, and we'll actually reach out to them on your behalf. We'll explain healthcare sharing. We'll explain that they can start sending the bills our way and how it works. And occasionally they might be a little difficult. They may say, well, we don't know you. And so in those cases, we do what's called a single case agreement. We negotiate with them kind of a discounted rate, and then we go that route. So there's plenty of ways we could look at it for your family. And it sounds like clearly you have some very specific needs. I will say the prescription coverage is one of the limitations of healthcare sharing, that we have discount programs. We also have some really great things we're doing on the specialty pharmacy side and the more expensive drugs to help support our members, even obtaining, funding for those or those kind of things for our members. But as a matter of course, prescriptions are only covered for the 90 days after an incident. And then anything that's ongoing is actually considered, maintenance, and that's part of what you pay for. Now, again, if you're paying ridiculous premiums, I have a good friend who had a very expensive blood thinner, and he could only use this certain one. He was paying $400 out of pocket. So he did the math, and he said, well, every month I pay $400 plus I'll pay for Solidarity, but I'll still save money. So he did it. And then we were actually able to obtain deeper discounts for him on that medication, and now he's paying only $100 out of pocket a month on that medication. So, that's kind of how we would look at that for you. And again, we would go to bat for you with those providers and try to work out an agreement with them on your behalf. And ultimately, you're a private pay patient, so you can at least obtain the cash pay discounts, and then we would pay those bills for you on your behalf.
What would be a typical monthly payment? I know it's kind of hard to gauge. Someone said $450 a month is what he pays. So what can I expect to pay for a family of three?
Yeah, a family of three would be $449 a month. And the only other add-on is if, one of our pre-existing plans is something called Health Track, we just changed the name to Solidarity Well, which is a wellness program for certain conditions like diabetes and those. So the only addition would be if one of you qualified for that program, you'd pay an extra $80 for that, which is actually a great program. It helps you, keep your weight down and do all those things. But $449 a month is our family plan. And then we have a $1,500 annual unshared amount that you pay out of pocket before you share in any medical costs.
All right, Bill?
Okay, that helps.
All right. Thank you for the call to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking about Solidarity HealthShare. It is a program like several others that are available, kind of an alternative to typical traditional health insurance coverage. And Chris Faddis is with us, founder of Solidarity HealthShare, where members contribute, and out of that out of all those contributions, your medical bills are paid. So it's kind of like a huge family, all helping each other out with medical expenses. Marcia, hang on, we're going to get to you next in Lancaster, New York. But Debbie and Chris, we have an email question from Jen in North Dakota. And Jen says, we recently signed up for Solidarity this summer. I haven't looked into all the details of the SaveNet aspect of this program. Does it help with any dental, vision, or chiropractic care? Thank you very much. So Chris, that one's yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jen, and welcome to the Solidarity family. SaveNet is our current discount program, which is a certain brand we're using. We're actually switching to another program here soon called Solidarity Discounts, and but ultimately, yes, Jen, it does. It helps with prescriptions. It helps with your dental and vision. It gives you discounts on the exams and on all the different treatments. There's a whole schedule. You can actually look in there and look up your zip code and look up pricing and those kind of things. So the program is great. You can certainly call our office and they'll explain to you how to get online and look it up if you haven't found it yet. But yeah, it's a great way to save money on those extra costs. Health sharing does not include dental and vision. A lot of people are confused, Jerry and Debbie, that if they're used to an employer-sponsored plan, a lot of times dental and vision is bundled with it, or you can buy them bundled online, from the open market. So it is a separate product, but with these discount plans, I know for myself, I think I saved more money on dental than I ever did with a dental insurance personally. So it is a great program, and I think, Jen, you'll find that the new programs we're rolling out over the next 2 months are even better.
Wow, good deal. Hey, Chris, just out of curiosity, can I move over? Because I still keep carrying my own dental and stuff. Can you move over once you're in Solidarity? Can you move into these other plans?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You can it's just a discount card, and obviously we can talk through if that's a good move. And that is the other option I was going to mention is some of our families do still just buy a dental vision product,
Right.
From the open market. And that is another option if the discount card doesn't work well for you. So especially if you have a lot of different work that has to be done.
Okay, got you. Okay, so we're going to get to Marcia real quickly. Chris, I have to do this before the end of the show because it wouldn't be fair to do. I always introduce you as co-founder, and then we said founder. So you have to give also credit to Brad Hahn, who I think you guys did it together, correct?
Yeah, it's actually Brad Hahn and then Dr. John Ertley are, the three of us together really. John and I had come up with some of the original concepts and then went to Brad as, Brad represents a lot of our families here in Arizona, and as you know, and we, asked him advice, and really it just turned out that he'd be a great person. Brad's an expert at end-of-life issues as well as conscience issues, and he serves as our CEO and does a great job and does a lot of our radio and all of the kind of appearances and things. And then Dr. John Ertley serves as our Vice President of Medical Advocacy, and John is the other co-founder. So really grateful. In fact, Debbie, we're actually in Dallas right now, and Brad and John will be meeting me here in a few hours. We're at the Catholic Medical Association Conference, which is actually presented by Solidarity HealthShare this year. So we're really excited to be here together, and we're kind of just collaborating with all these amazing Catholic physicians on how to restore and rebuild authentic Catholic healthcare.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we have a doctor up right after Marcia, but let's get to Marcia so we can get to our doctor as well. Marcia is in Lancaster, New York, on the Station of the Cross. Welcome to Take Two, Marcia.
Thank you. I have a question regarding disability. I'm on Social Security disability. I have both Medicare A and B, and I'm also required to have something called Medicare Part D, which Medicare claims to be creditable prescription coverage. My question is, does Solidarity HealthShare offer this creditable prescription drug coverage?
Marcia, that's a great question. We currently do not. We do not offer anything specific for Medicare, although I will tell you that there are many families who are using Solidarity as a secondary, to cover anything that Medicare is not covering. And so we find that's happening quite a bit. Now, obviously, there's an additional cost there, and it may not be possible. But in many cases, it's less expensive than going to the open market and buying a supplemental coverage. But specific to prescriptions, we do not. And again, It's one of those areas where we are developing and hoping to do more for all of our members, but maybe even in that Medicare piece.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
You are welcome, Marcia. Thank you so much. Phone line open there if you would like to join us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Again, it's very, very rare when we have a guest on the program, but when we have a topic such as today's, Catholic health sharing, an alternative to traditional health insurance coverage, we certainly like to go straight to the source and the experts, those who know what they're talking about, and present it to you. And Chris Faddis is here with us, one of the co-founders of Solidarity HealthShare. By the way, Chris, where will people find you online and information about the program programs, and just, so they can kind of weigh the pros and cons of whether it's right for them?
Sure, definitely, on solidarityhealthshare.org, solidarityhealthshare.org, and obviously Facebook and Twitter and all of those fun social media avenues has a lot of great information. There's some great videos and interviews we've done, and some interviews of some of our members and things that you can find as well. So we encourage people to find us there. And like I mentioned before, calling in is always great because there's so many specific questions to each person, as you can tell by these phone calls. And our sales team and our team there is really just great at consulting with folks and helping them walk through those questions. And they'll let you call as many times as you need to and ask those questions. So 844-313-4999 is our phone number. And we encourage people to call. We're there about 12 hours a day, so there's plenty of time for them to get into the call center.
Well, I have to tell you, and your staff has been so kind. I've called many times, and they're so sweet. They even call me back. They're darling. I do feel like it's part of the family. You did a great job at organizing the whole entire ministry. So thank you for that, Chris. But there's plenty of time for you.
That.
Yeah, plenty of time for you, Take Two family, to call in. This is your show. This is your opportunity. Like Jerry said, it's rare we have guests, but we did this because you guys helped me kind of jump into that leap of faith of the healthcare sharing ministry with Solidarity HealthShare. You guys helped me. You prompted me. So we wanted to give this gift back to you by having Chris on the air so he could answer some of your questions. 833-288-3986. Okay, Hector in Texas on Sirius XM 130. Thank you so much for waiting, and welcome to Take Two.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Amaya, and I'm here in Westlaco, Texas. Right now I have a day free because I have to fix some things with my kids' school. But I wanted to introduce myself. I'm an internal medicine physician, and I'm not in Solidarity HealthShare. And I wanted to ask to the guests, and now that I have him on the line, are willing to take in, Solidarity HealthShare, and what's the pathway that I have to follow? Because I'm a young physician, and I see indigent care, I see, like no pay, Medicare, Medicaid, exchange, and all kinds of insurance, and I saw the Solidarity HealthShare, like a very good option for people with low income, and actually, for us too. I mean, I think it's an option that I was evaluating, to get. I know. I hear the program and they don't have coverage for prescription right now, which is a biggie. But I think it's a pretty good option. Honestly speaking, I have going into the site and looking at the information and everything. But I don't know if you have physicians around, because not too many physicians know about the Solidarity HealthShare, neither willing to take this kind of insurance and have negotiation with you guys. Sometimes, they wanted to go to the commercial insurances and have big payments, for services done and everything else, but not all the physicians, of course. But, I'm willing to get into the game with you guys, but I don't know how can I get, to do it, because I think it's a very Christian option to do, especially for Catholics, and we have a lot of population with Catholics here, especially Spanish-speaking and people that they are struggling with the premiums for the insurances. They are skyrocketing for the last 2 years. So I would like to be one of the physicians that take this kind of insurances, but I don't know where to start. So.
Well, we would love to have you, Hector. You are absolutely the type of physician, I can just hear it in your voice and what you're saying, that we want our members to have access to. I've been amazed. I'm honestly a little getting some chills too, Debbie, just hearing Hector's passion, because that's what I'm amazed by. So many great physicians who have so much passion to care for people, but they're tied up in this system, or there's lots of headaches. And so, Hector, what I would love for you to do is call our office at 844-313-4999 and choose option 2, and ask for Lisa for me, because I want Lisa. Lisa's one of my best people, and I want Lisa to explain to you how it works for providers, and she'll get you she'll kick over a provider packet to you that explains it.
Okay, can you repeat the phone number, please?
Yeah, it's 844-313-4999. 844-313-4999.
Yeah, and
313-4999.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Hector, for you and everyone else,
Lisa.
the website, by the way, I'm sure the number is on there, just in case anyone didn't get that phone number, solidarityhealthshare.org, solidarityhealthshare.org. But it seems like you got that phone number written down, Hector. Did you have anything else for Chris, Hector?
Yes, no. I think it's a very valid option, and I hear, they've been negotiating in this modality of negotiating the bills. I have seen patients struggling to pay bills for the rest of their life because they are exaggerated, and I think I like the part that they negotiate the bills with the hospital, which is, you can see it. A patient with insurance, a patient with private pay, they have different rates, and I think it's not hidden under the sun that there's a difference in between, the billing for commercial insurance and billing for a private pay patient. I like the modality, and I think it's very honest. It should be like that, and I think it's, that puts less struggle in the patients, and the families, that they are struggling to pay the premiums for the insurance. It's really good, and I would love to have more information and get on board with you guys, okay?
Wonderful.
Well, thank you, Hector. Don't forget, Chris said to get in touch with Lisa and make sure you do that. And that is awesome. And thanks for your vocation, Hector. Thank you for being a great doctor and caring about others. This is why we do this show. We love the Take Two family. So thank you for listening as well. And can I just share something real quickly, Jerry and Chris? I just have to share this because I just want to give a big shout out to the media missionaries, the EWTN media missionaries. Boy, oh boy, do they do a great job. Right now, I'm at Sacred Heart Radio in Seattle with the Fall Share-a-thon, and today is the first day that just got kicked off real strong. And, it's all because of raising awareness in the communities. And the EWTN media missionaries do such a great job at raising awareness for EWTN and for all the local affiliates as well, because they're just constantly talking about what Catholic radio and Catholic television can do in our lives and in our hearts and in our souls. And I just want to say thank God for the media missionaries. If you want to be one and to raise awareness and to spread the good news, just visit EWTNmissionaries.com today and join us in sharing the eternal word with the world.
Okay, Veronica, hang on. We're going to get to your call, but we did have a Facebook question, EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page. Diana, Chris says, I like this idea. I tried enrolling my child with special needs because he lost Medicaid, but unfortunately they didn't cover the therapies he needed. She doesn't specify if this was Solidarity or not, but perhaps maybe it is, but she doesn't say. But the lady was very nice and prayed for me so I could find the right health care. Is this the same? Okay, is Solidarity the same as MediShare? I guess that's her question.
Yeah, we are a little different, and depending on the disability, again, in a lot of cases, and it's unfortunate that some states are dropping disability coverage for children. In a lot of cases, that ultimately is where I would believe that's where states do need to be involved in healthcare is taking care of the most vulnerable and especially disabled children. And so like in states like ours in Arizona, the coverage is so great for children with disabilities that it makes sense for families to choose that. But Solidarity, we will look at your child's case, and again, I don't know the disability, but we certainly will look at that and see if it's something that we can, share in and that we'd be a good support for you. One of the biggest things we want to do is make sure that you're getting the right kind of care for your child. But we cover a lot of therapies. We share in a lot of therapies for different conditions. And so it's something that our nurse team would look at and weigh. And typically in that kind of a case, they'll even bring it to our senior leadership team to consider that case.
Right. And it doesn't hurt. Just check it out. That's what I did. I went to your site several times, Chris. I mean, you told me about it and other friends have told me about it, but I went to the site and I really learned so much about it. I thought I'm doing it. So that I think it would I would encourage others to do that as well. Always a good checking out your website, solidarityhealthshare.org. I can't talk today, but Veronica can, and we have about a minute left on the show in Champaign, Illinois, on Trinity Radio. Veronica, we got about a minute.
Yes, I'll try to be fast. Thank you. I'm calling for my 59-year-old sister. She's on disability. She's maintaining her COBRA through December to keep what she needs. And she's also the sole caretaker for my 91-year-old father, who does have VA assistance. And her issues right now, macular degeneration and back issues. Is it possible for her to get any help through your program?
Yeah, those could potentially be under that pre-existing condition policy where they would be graduated in. But we would have to look at that. I mean, it really depends on the kind of gradation of the two conditions. Back problems can be things that are handled very easily, and sometimes they can be very difficult. But yeah, it would be something we'd be happy to look at. We have lots of folks in that similar kind of situation where maybe they have a lot of problems, but maybe they're stable for a time and they can go through that graduated program for pre-existing conditions. And again, one thing I keep saying, Debbie, is to call. But, certainly when you call, you're going to talk to our representatives who are helping people decide if health sharing is for them. But you certainly can ask to call a nurse and call in and ask for one of our nurses and ask some of these questions as well, as they understand the medical side so much better than everyone else, and they can walk you through those decisions.
All right. Thanks, Veronica. For more details, go to solidarityhealthshare.org. And if you don't find it right there on the website, do call the number that is on the site there. And I'm sure you can talk to one of their very friendly and knowledgeable representatives. Chris, it's been great having you on. There's probably a lot that we didn't get to cover, so I know that people can find more information on the website there. So anything in about the last 30 seconds you want people to know about?
I'm just really grateful for all of our members and all those who would consider calling. Definitely call. This is the time to band together as Catholics and support each other in this great work and help each other in these medical needs. And so I hope people will call in and find out more. And as we continue to grow, we'll continue to expand the program and provide even more for our members. So thank you both. I'm really grateful for the time and appreciate all that you do for Catholic Radio and for all these listeners.
Aw, thanks, Chris. And just know that all of us and now the Take Two family will be with you on Friday as you remember Angela's passing 6 years. And I know that's got to be hard on you and the kids. And we just want you to know that we're with you. And we always do everything virtual here on Take Two. So we'll be sending you virtual hugs. Okay, Chris? And you take care. Safe traveling.
Beautiful.
Say hi.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, say hi to Brad. Don't forget. And wow, great show. Folks, check out the website. It's so important. I did it, and I did it because you guys prompted me to. So I love the Take Two family. Jerry, tomorrow we're talking about the Catechism of the Catholic Church. I love it.
That's right. It came out in 1994, so hopefully you've had a copy for many, many years. And it's not just collecting dust. Our question for you tomorrow, how do you use the Catechism of the Catholic Church in your life, in your family's life? So keep that in your thoughts and prayers between now and tomorrow, and we hope that you'll join us with your take on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thanks to affiliates, show team. I'm Jerry Usher for Debbie Georgiani. Have a beautiful and blessed day.